Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Life Made Easy. And today we got episode number 4 of my OBS tutorial and beginner's guide. If you guys are going to enjoy this video, make sure to like the video and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you guys know exactly when I upload. You can also check out the Life Made Easy podcast. Go check that over there on Anchor if you enjoy podcasting and technology related content. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can also become a channel member. You don't have to, but you can if you want. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So today it's going to be kind of like a brief episode, just going to be going over some resolution and FPS information in the settings of OBS. Last episode we discussed encoder settings. That's kind of like taking this to the next level for your stream quality. And to be honest, I think this is the #1 most important aspect of streaming when it comes to like how powerful your PC is, because resolution FPS plays a big part in the quality you're outputting. So we're just going to make our way over to settings. Load up. So last video we did a lot with the encoder stuff. If you guys want to go check that out, make sure to watch that before you watch this video, so you know what I'm talking about. So as I said in the last video, and bitrate was probably like the second most important thing when it comes to live streaming and the quality you're outputting. Also, like what kind of encoder you're using. In this video we're going to be focusing on the video. Now obviously I'm recording right now, so it's kind of a pain that I can't adjust these settings, but I will go into detail about what each setting is. So base canvas resolution, that is referring to this right here, your entire OBS kind of like preview, like what you want this entire canvas resolution to be. So I would recommend for 99.9% of you to just leave it at 1920 by 1080. If you want to output scale it and scale it down to a lower resolution so you're not taking up as much CPU power, you can do that in the output scaled resolution right here. So I would always keep this 1920 by 1080 just because it's really clear and crisp. You can use higher resolution, but I would not recommend that. I think 1920 by 1080 is a universal, really solid resolution, and it's good for a lot of images and stuff like that. If you want to add that on, and it's really crisp and clear. So make sure you keep that 1920 by 1080, because if you shrink it to like 720, then whatever you add here, it's going to be like much smaller because it's not as many pixels. So as I said, you can output the same resolution if you want to keep it at that same sharp resolution, or if your computer is not as powerful, you can do something like 1280 by 720. You can, if you want to output that. And what I mean output, I'm referring to this output as in recording or streaming. So that, just to be clear, that when I say when you're outputting a certain resolution, I'm referring to the output tab of OBS in these settings. So, and that goes for like live streaming to a certain platform or recording video straight to your computer. So even though your base canvas resolution is 1920 by 1080 and you have this set to output resolution 1280 by 720, the video you're gonna get when you finish recording is going to be 720p. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. I'd say for streaming, if you don't have that good of an internet connection, maybe not as powerful as a CPU or GPU on your computer, I would maybe bump that down to 720p, because honestly, when it comes to live streaming, it doesn't really matter. Most people are fine with watching 720p, and we'll get into FPS because that's a big factor that goes along with resolution. So resolution and FPS kind of go hand in hand when it comes to streaming and recording. So it all depends on what kind of content you're making. If you're shooting like movie style video or stuff like that, 24 to 30 FPS is like kind of like the gold standard for like film. But if you're playing video games and live streaming games and stuff that run at 60 FPS, you're going to want to bump this up to 60 FPS for the common FPS value. So FPS also plays a big role in like how good your stream looks and stuff like that. Obviously for gaming, it's going to look really crisp and sharp if you're running like 1080 60 fps. You'll see that a lot with YouTubers streaming these days because they have a really powerful PC. But I have to say, and I do this too, I downscale mine to 720p, but I keep this at 60 fps. So I'm kind of like putting less stress on my CPU. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but down here, this shows your CPU usage while you're recording. So right now I'm recording at 24 fps, and it's barely using any of my CPU power because I'm recording using my GPU right now. So there's almost no stress on my CPU, which is good. So keep that in mind when you're streaming. Just see how powerful your computer is. Your computer's not so powerful, maybe I drop it to 720p 30 fps. That still looks sharp and smooth. And sometimes you want to choose that lower resolution, lower FPS value over a laggy stream, or a stream that's like kind of like going blurry a lot of the time, or just have buffering issues or latency issues, stuff like that. So definitely always drop it down. And then also, if you're running this at like 1080p 60 fps and you look over here and your CPU is like 99% usage, you're going to fry your computer, and I would not recommend that. Always keep your CPU usage under 30%, or maybe like under 40%. If it goes over that, you're probably going to like cook your CPU, and it's going to do damage to your computer in the future and in the long run. So just keep that in mind. So for downscale filter, there's several options here. Right now, since I'm just recording, I'm not live streaming, I have mine on, I don't know how you say this, Lanczos. I'm not, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but that's sharpen scaling. It's basically like the sharpest setting you can have, and it has 36 samples, so it's the highest amount of samples when you're downscaling, so it's keeping everything sharp. There's other options that are only like 16 samples, which is a little less blurry. I'm sorry, a little less sharp, but it's up to you which one you want to use. It all depends on your performance of your computer, as I said earlier. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. Video and output tab I alter all the time when I'm streaming or recording. It's very good to find the perfect balance of the two, so you're getting the best kind of like output when you're recording or streaming. So that's going to be it basically for this video. If you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe. You can also support me through checking out my podcast, buying my merch, and becoming a channel member. All up to you guys. You don't have to. It's fine if you don't. But that's just an option if you care to take. So next video, we'll probably go into maybe audio settings or something like that. You guys can leave a comment down below if you're interested in a specific topic in OBS that you're struggling with. But so yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I am out.